After the fall of London, the Inquisition grew stronger. The purge spread across the world, and suddenly no city was safe. The arrogant Camarilla elders attempted to direct the kind towards their enemies, and of course, it backfired. The Anarchs were the first to suffer. The Camarilla blamed the Anarchs' liberal use of technology, but the Anarchs knew in their heart that the Capes were to blame. Over the course of 5 years, havens burned across the world, and you were fortunate enough to have sires with foresight. They sent you away before the strike teams arrived. Your sires stayed and fought, and you have no idea if they survived or not. It's been almost a year of traveling and hiding, but now a new hope has arisen. Rumors of London's kindred have spread. Apparently the Camarilla, the Anarchs, and the cult of Mithras are all working together to combat the Second Inquisition. Being at the center of the war and having fought since the beginning, the kindred of London have adapted to this new way of surviving better than anyone else. An agreement between Prince Kairos, Baron Moore, and Mithras himself has strengthened the kindred of the city. Traveling to London by plane is a death sentence. You have managed to get a message to the Anarchs of London announcing your arrival. The Baron has responded that you are to take the train from Paris and that he'll have a welcoming party for you to guide you safely past Antigen's defenses into the city. It's a cold January evening. A few stops before the outer boroughs of London, the ride is suddenly stopped. You hear the power going out, and then anything electrical causing a small explosion. That includes phones and devices you have on your person. The emergency brakes, and the train comes to a halt.
Let me interrupt you, just because this is what I intend to do. Have we gotten a chance to get to know each other, or at least are we positioned in the same car, or is this kind of like a bullet train sort of situation where we're kind of scattered throughout the cars and we don't know each other?
It's the same car, but it's a 1.5 hour, 2 hour trip maybe. So you have been in the vicinity of each other, but I don't think any of you know each other. You're from different places in the world. Yes, Marie?
Okay.
So are we supposed to react, or is this a stop in the middle of the narration?
Yeah, this is not at a station. You're stopping. It's just in the... Well, you see some grass and some bushes outside.
Well, that's ominous.
Yeah.
How close to London are we going to be? I'm sure we'd probably have looked or seen the signs that we're heading on through.
A few stops from Bromley.
Luke is gonna look out the window.
Do I have any knowledge, or do we have any kind of clue when they introduce us to here, as in what kind of procedures usually the Second Inquisition uses to check on trains or on, any kind of way to get into London?
Well, this was supposed to be your way in. You don't know if it's Antigen or the welcoming party you were told about. Alex, outside, you see a woman,
Luke.
you think, from her stature, height. Mm-hmm. She's covered in black robes, with the hood up.
I like her style already. Yeah.
Robe is slit in the front, which reveals she's wearing black, very loose, comfortable pants beneath.
Mm-hmm.
From the shadows, you think, because it's completely dark in here, you hear a voice saying, "Get out so we can talk." All of you guys hear this, and the mortals around you are a little freaked out by everything that's happening.
Yeah. So he is going to, straighten his shirt out, brush himself off, just kind of get up, he's got his hair kind of way he does, part of it's shaved on the side of his head. I'm not willing to go that far with my appearance yet, but that's what's gonna happen here. So he's gonna get up out of the car, or out of his car seat there, and just kind of like he's not sure. Well, actually, let me ask. The voice, was it more telepathic or was it more auditory?
Oh, it's coming from a shadow, you think.
let me ask the next question. Would he assume that others could hear it, or would it just be kind of like something he would hear and understand?
Well, it
Working,
seems
I'm
like
sorry.
it's coming from, and everyone can hear it. It's not in your
Oh,
head.
okay. So shadow speaker, got it. All right, so he's looking around to see where the speaker is, because that's the very first thing you think about, not just shadows talking to you, although it's been known to happen. And so he's going to get up, he's going to look around at the other passengers in the car, and he's going to be like, okay, that's fine. We're in London, and this is obviously how they do things now. So gonna walk straight out to the door, the closest door, no rush, no hurry, smooth as he can be, and head on out to talk to this individual in the nice clothes.
That is your intention. I'll go around the table and figure out what everyone wants to do. Leo, what's your reaction to all of this?
I will activate on Melinopone and follow Luke out. Just pay attention to everyone around and see if any kind are walking out as well.
Well, everyone is pausing for a moment and looking at you, and the kind around you can't seem to resist looking at you. But it's very apparent to the rest of you that this man is Kindred.
I mean, if Luke weren't looking at the woman, he would totally be looking at Leo. So,
Oliver?
Oliver will look around the train, and he's not necessarily going to trust it, but the train is stopped, and he's really got nowhere else to go. So he'll wait a little bit, watches the guy who with everyone's attention is drawn to, watches him leave first, and then sees what happens to him outside, and then slowly gets up and follows him out.
Marie, what is your intention?
Is there any way I could try to sense beforehand in the shadows if there's any kind of supernatural? That will be a big green flag for me.
You can do a resolve an aspects with your sense the unseen. The first roll. Now everything goes wrong.
Critical. Good.
bestial failure.
Yeah, it makes it critical. I try to rip off the people in front of me.
Oh, you could do that anyway. Don't need a roll.
2 successes. Well, it's hard to explain, but it seems like there's a point in the shadows that's thicker and moving around.
Alright. Then that suffices for me to feel safer, as in the sense that, as far as I am aware, we are supposed to be like we should not be that afraid from other kindred as in other places, but rather from the Second Inquisition, and this is not one of their tours. So that assures me, and I'm going to leave the wagon way more feeling safer. Anyone else coming in?
His voice is in the dark. I'm sure it's just fine.
Exactly, yeah. Has gone through way worse this last month. So.
Emery, what is your reaction to this?
So we know we had like a destination, or she was given individually. We were collectively given a destination to go to in London, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And we are not too. How far are we? Like, we're like miles away. We're in London, though. We are now officially UK.
No, you're about
Side.
to hit the most southeastern borough of London.
Okay.
So Bromley is very much the edge of it.
London
Okay.
adjacent, even.
Okay. I think what she would try to make her way off, but she would like to use a discipline to. She has animal messenger, and so she would like to send a message to whoever this person is that sent us on the train, and just like she can send a. message like train got stopped, not sure what's going on. We'll be there if I can.
Of course, there's a pigeon nearby because you're standing still now, which lands on a broken window and looks at you. Wherever they sound.
Tell them we're stuck.
I believe the power is free, correct? Because it's your famulus?
Yes and no. So I do have the familis, but because it is animal messenger, it is, I will tell you what it is. To use animal messenger, says the familis must test resolve plus streetwise survival if target's location is unknown. But so then I guess maybe it is free if I do know the location.
You have a pretty good idea. I assume it's just a little note you tie to its foot. Yeah. And
Yep.
the pigeon flies off. Dave, a lot of things are happening at the moment, and
Nothing's going to go smooth anywhere near the Camarilla. While Leo is bringing their attention to him, hood goes up. Let's go out and get take our medicine, see what's going to happen next. Hands in pockets, head down, trudge along.
well, you get outside, or well, it's kind of the tracks are on a small hill, and you enter a grassland area with trees in the background. It's kind of hard to see for the people who are poor-sighted vampires, and not having their abilities on. Oliver, you see perfectly. There's a forest in the distance, and this seems to be the outskirts of a small village, you think, from the buildings around and the distance between them and the kind of nature and the size of the roads.
Oliver takes a look around, and he looks back at this group that is sort of like manifested here, and he kind of like looks them all over. And he can tell that they're kindred, right? By certain, or at least a few of them.
It depends on how much people are trying to hide it, I would say.
Well,
I
Luke
assume all
Luke
of you
has
are blushed.
Oblivion sight up. So he can see perfectly in the dark, but his eyes are also pitch black. So that's maybe a bit of a tip off, you know. He's got these black, void eyes there that are not at all creepy, and but something you would probably at least have some knowledge of there, Oliver, being something of a cousin in disciplines there. So yeah. He would just kind of look at how big is Oliver again? I know he's huge.
He's a pretty big dude. He's like probably not. He's like 6'3".
Yeah, so. Yeah. Luke is kind of a stick, like he's rail thin. He's not nearly as imposing as Oliver physically, but he's just kind of give him a nod, like, hey, you're getting off the train too, along with all the rest of these people. Where is the woman that he saw?
Well, she's standing about 5 yards away, and she's waving at you guys.
Yeah. He's just gonna head over there.
She's calling out, let's go before antigen arrives. I'll answer any question you might have on the way. And she starts walking towards some bushy area.
Fair enough. Yeah. We don't want to get into any trouble with whatever the hell antigen is.
You catch up to her, and she's still walking very steadily, and she's looking from side to side like she's expecting the worst, but she simply says, "My name is Nemesis. The Baron sent me."
Oh. Can he? I'm okay with the answer being no. Can he tell anything about her in terms of like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, kindred, what kind?
Oh, very much. Well, apart from the absurd clothing. She has ice blue eyes, very unnatural, and she has white hair. She looks about her mid-20s, so it does not fit. She is beautiful, but her demeanor is very cold and creepy, and yet she has a smile on her face, but it seems forced.
Yeah. Typical Toreador, no problem. So, all right. He's going to kind of catch up to her enough to say, "You're our contact here with the Baron. I assume you had something to do with the train and everything."
I had to stop it.
Yeah. Okay. We're in the right place then. He's going to look back and go, "Guys, we're all okay. We're in the right place. This is our contact, I think."
Jeez.
Seems a little conspicuous to take this sort of route.
We're going through the sewers. I hope none of you have an issue with that.
I have an issue with that.
Leo, your big
Always
screams.
Oh, can you? This is it? Like oh god.
Marie?
When Luke says that hey, we are okay, I'm going to answer, you're still doubting about that, and then I'm going to get my attention to them. And thank you very much for your guidance. How could we be of any assistance?
She nods, looking at the rest of you, almost searching for questions in your faces, or just seeing perhaps the acceptance of following along for now. You eventually hit an area with a bridge, and you go below the bridge where there is a large sewer grate, which Nemesis lifts off very easily, puts it to the side. This is probably 1,000 pounds, so that she just moved without any hassle, and she says, "Get in," and points towards a large pipe.
Great, we're in London now, that's for sure. Oh.
Sewers. I'm not going to argue with someone that can lift up one of those grates, so just a pinch of salt at the entrance, then climb on down.
I feel the same. Yeah, he's definitely not going to start an argument with somebody who can lift 1,000 pounds. Great, but
Dave, as you enter, you start to hear a man humming in your head. He's humming the Imperial March from Star Wars. And you are post the web Malkavian, so you have never experienced this before. But you suddenly feel connected to more than one person.
Well, not going to mention it. I'm going to keep quiet in case everyone's experiencing this. And
Yeah, totally normal.
put up, head down.
Luke is, yeah, on that note, Luke is going to look around using insight. You're free to resist or, pretend that, you're not hearing anything or whatever. He's just going to kind of look around and check to see if anybody else is making funny faces at this point. Like, okay, we're hearing the Imperial March in our head. That's fantastic. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's only Dave who can hear it through the web.
Okay.
But
You'd have noticed,
So it's only.
you'd have noticed on the wall, Dave is always looking around. He's waiting for someone to jump out on us, so he just looks suspicious.
So it's just Dave looking like he's yeah. Okay. All right.
I think Emery would pick up on this and she'd go, "Dave, do you hear that?"
No? Was it?
That's the sound of us coming home. Well, at least me. And she'll go into the sewer, just onward.
Okay.
Marie?
So that's what it stands for, the Anarch team these days. And I'm going to, with an raised eyebrow. Do you see what?
Yep. Leo. Well, you can go in there, but you really don't want to. There's a bit of a mood dampener, at least, while you're in here, and Oliver with your heightened senses, your nose is probably turned off at the moment.
And when he goes into the pipe, he takes one long look at Nemesis, who I imagine is like at the entrance to it. One long hard look, because he's like, he's going into like a vulnerable position, like going into this pipe where he can't get out. So he's like, just gives her this hard look, like, don't try anything, and then goes in after the rest of the group.
Leo's gonna take his like 3 or 4 bags of clothing and follow.
Yeah. Luke, can you do a wits insight for me? Because you're scanning people.
I am.
And being attentive to body language.
I am. Mm-hmm. We'll see how attentive he really is.
Well, you can see in the dark. That's a good start.
Yeah. So that's 3 successes. Not bad. So this is a half decent roll. Yeah.
3 is pretty good. We get a good base feel. I'm just gonna have the number in mind. Nemesis, she puts the crate back from the inside, obviously. She's not putting you in a cage. And
she lives, clearly.
Catches up to you guys. She says, guys, we need to hurry. There might be lupines or anything much worse in the sewers here. With your insight roll, she's not speaking the whole truth. It seems to be a misdirection.
A kindred who's hiding something. Okay.
Something new and exciting for London.
Yeah.
So a kindred.
Why wouldn't there be lupines? I'm sure there's dozens of them all around us just for us.
She gives, well, whoever wants to receive it, a flashlight as she heads into the dark.
I'm good.
Because there's at least a few people here who can't see in the dark.
Given the flashlight situation, and we're in the sewers, and the mention of lupines, and this is not at all of this not at all creepy at all. I mean, what an entrance! What a way to receive us into the city.
She takes up the pace at least and starts almost jogging through the sewers.
Luke is going to do his very best to do his ninja stealth thing that he's so used to doing around people. And he's just going to, kind of keep at the edge of the shadows, like where it feels safe and where he's unseen. That's what he's going to do. So if you need a roll for me on that, that's fine. But that's what he's going to do.
I need everyone to do a stealth roll. It can be with dex, it can be with composure.
Fantastic.
And it can be with wits.
Okay.
That's 4 successes.
4. Do you use your cloak?
I think that only applies if I'm standing still. So if it does happen that they're standing still, it's free. He can just throw that up.
It's just forming around you.
I will absolutely. Yeah. I will use the cloak too, so I can roll an extra. Or yeah.
Well, if anyone has seen a La Sombre before, he is one.
Go in.
I let's see. I forget how to add 2 extra dice to this roll, but
well, the rolls here. Look, you're very much. Well, you're moving like a ninja. It's slippery down here, but you're fine. It's dark, so you feel comfortable.
He's stealthy. He's invisible. It's dark. Yeah, he's in his element here.
Dave, you're walking along. You're a bit distracted, just trying not to fall really in the water. It's not going that fast, and you don't know or care if you're making a lot of sound.
Just resigned to what we need to do.
Fortunately, everything is just... Oliver is loud as hell for some reason. If it's his weight or something he has on him, you don't know. He's definitely the loudest one here.
Purposefully walking through puddles.
Oh, stop.
And well, Leo and Marie are kind of walking along like Dave, really watching their feet and their footing, really, because none of you want to fall in this. Just go slowly along. Emery, did you want to re-roll? Oh.
Yeah, it didn't add my extra rolls. It only did the 4 dice, but I have more than that.
Go ahead, or just roll a d20. D10. D20 and a d10. That's the d20.
Well, I got 4
Nice.
8s, so...
All right. Well, you're pretty comfortable down here, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask before I move on to the next part. Does anyone want to ask Nemesis or anything, or interact with her, or do you just follow along? This is just the opportunity to do so.
going.
I have a question.
Yes.
How, being from London, how familiar would she be with the sewers? If at all.
Not much, because you've never been a kindred, will you, in London? So it's you don't know the London sewers, but you're pretty sure once you start to see some Nosferatu markings, you should be able to at least have some signs down here.
So, do all the Anarchs live underground now, or are any of us allowed to go above ground? Please tell me we can go above ground.
She actually laughs at it and says, no, it's just Antigen has checkpoints at every entrance to the city, and this is the only way in. But trust the place you're staying, well, I don't want to say it's above ground, but you can definitely go above ground.
Okay.
And
Live in the sewer. It's a plus.
and do you have any idea where that place is? If we may know, please.
We'll be there soon, don't worry. You eventually get to the end of a very large pipe. It's large enough that 3 people can stand shoulder to shoulder in here without bending. But it comes to a halt. It's just a concrete wall, it seems. She turns around and gives each of you a peering look. I'm gonna give you all some advice, because I'm nice. I'm gonna tell you about the power in the city. It might help you out. Let's start with the Baron. Gabriel is a decent guy, but doesn't cut it in this world. And because of his Bruja blood, I believe he's a bomb waiting to blow. Well, the Prince, Alex Kairos, man of the hour, literally now. He is, of course, Ventru. And like all Ventru scum before him, he has quickly risen to power and safely locked himself away in his tower, pulling the strings. He is also a devout follower of Lilith, and although everyone knows this, the Archons have never seemed to find evidence. Last one, and this one is important, Fleshlings. So listen up. The guy who's truly in charge, Mithras. Him and his heralds and his followers, stay away from them. They execute people on sight if they displease them.
Sounds like a great place, honestly. Like, I'm gonna fit right in here.
Jake will take his notebook out and make a few scribbles.
Nemesis stretches out her arms and says, grab hold. Assume everyone does so.
Mm-hmm.
You've never experienced this before. Alex, you feel like you're where you belong for a moment. You all fold in on yourself and kind of become a shadow, and that's all you see for a moment, and then you're standing in an alley in front of a large building. It's a 2-storied building. To the left side of it is a music and instrument store. The sign above the door is depicting an electric guitar and a bass that's crossed with the axes and spades written on them. And to the right side is a large bar. It has a risen fist in red neon with the letters, the rebellious fist. From inside, you hear very loud metal music being played, and outside the large double doors, a doorman stands with a very serious look on his face. He's a tall, handsome, muscular man of African descent. He wears a black suit, which has a name tag on the breast pocket saying Jamar. And here you are, stinking a bit of sewer, looking at a bar that's apparently very active on a Monday evening at, 9 o'clock?
These are going to need a wash. Hey, Jamar. He's got to look around to see if everybody else made the jump, so to speak, through the darkness, and seeing that everybody else has, he's going to well, it's a literal step up from the sewer. So, yeah.
Nemesis walks towards the double doors. Assume that you just follow her. If anyone wants to not, then please say so. You enter the bar area. Inside the bar to your left is a large counter with a wardrobe on the wall behind it. Sitting at the counter is a young, pale woman with long black hair. Half her head is shaved, and the bald area is now covered with a large black tattoo. She's chewing gum and looking very bored. She points at a sign as you walk in, saying all phones must be switched off and handed in the wardrobe. And then she just points to a tray. All your phones are fried, so I don't think any of you mind giving them up. And let me take you there on Roll20, so everyone can see what the hell I'm talking about. You should be able to move your own token as well, to wherever you want to be.
Ooh, a piano.
Yeah, there's
already.
a stage made of pallets, and the tables in here are large barrels with just bar stools. Everything is, of course, graffiti to fuck, and a lot of punkers and metalheads and goth people hang out here, as some normal people or less extreme people as well. A man from the bar starts walking towards you as you enter. He has greasy black hair and biker boots, black jeans, and an even blacker jacket that just screams Bruja. And you're greeted by an Irish dialect. He says to Nemesis and, the rest of you, hello lads and ladies. Nemesis, where the hell is Jake and Emma? Nemesis, she smiles for a moment and just says safe. Where Gabriel's response is, he gives her a very hard and long look and starts to walk towards a door signed office, which is over here, kind of waving you guys along. The music in here is kind of have to yell to have a conversation.
He's going to continue doing the following thing, I guess. Check around the bar. Is there anything, and I'm happy to roll an awareness roll here or anything like that, anything that stands out to him beyond the piano, anything of note that is interesting or particular?
Well, you fit in the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It looks like my kind of place, in the sense that it has people who appreciate good music, and clearly an entertainment atmosphere here.
As you enter the office, you see two couches on your right, some bookshelves with filings and systems and various books on them, and to your right, in the right corner, there's a desktop with a PC. The Baron, he walks behind the desk and pulls open a trapdoor and looks at you guys and says, "Jump in."
Oh,
How
Okay.
many
Emery
holes are we
goes.
jumping into?
It's if you just scroll down, you'll find Gabriel. It's down here.
Does the just out of curiosity, does the PC look like it's taken some damage? Right, like the keyboard's been smashed a little bit, like the monitor's been taped up. Does it look like it's suffered some harsh treatment?
It just looks very sturdy and 10 years old.
Right. Yeah. One of those tough book type situations.
Sounds like a typewriter when you type on the keyboard, and
Yeah. Some of the keys look broken. I get it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
When you come downstairs, you see you descend from a ladder and then see a surgical table down there with accompanying tools. There's a pistol on the table, and a full Kevlar suit, and a shotgun, and a large metal door, which looks more like a door to a vault than an actual door. And from inside you hear hammering, you think, but it's random.
They have a bat cave. Okay. All right.
Maybe it's a rage cage.
Yeah, or that. Sounds less friendly than a bat cave, honestly, but okay, yeah. I'm not great with rage cages. I don't tend to do that.
Depends on what side you're on.
What's the worst that could happen?
The doors open with a hiss, and the hammering becomes louder, and you realize it's not hammering, it's the sound of boxing gloves hitting something. The first thing you see in here is a very large boxing ring, where the cage part of it has been lifted at the moment. The entire ring is surrounded by benches, so people can take a seat and watch a potential fight. And inside the arena, you see a woman with bright red hair in green gym gear, you think, and she has boxing gloves on as well, or maybe it's more MMA style gloves. She's punching away on a target dummy with incredible force. When she finally
She's got great technique, I'm sure. Yeah, that dummy. Yeah.
When she finally turns and smiles, you see one green eye and one yellow. She's a stunning woman who appears to be in her mid-20s. To your right is a couch area, and a monitor on your left, on the left wall. It's currently turned off, but it's probably just to display match scores or something. And at the very end of the room, you see a man in a chair. He has several monitors in front of him, and he's dressed in a black silver pinstripe suit. Which with a matching fedora, and he has glowing orange eyes and a wicked grin on his face.
Not at all scary. Yeah. Okay. Is Gabriel with us?
Yeah. He's kind of just showing you in and looking at the red-haired woman.
Hey, Luke is just gonna be like, it looks like you got a great setup here. I'm more of a piano than a MMA guy. I'm just saying, I don't typically go in for the whole, physical violence thing. I'm just here to. I'm just more comfortable with my hands on keyboards rather than somebody's face. So,
Well, your survival may depend on learning. We have Fight Club Tuesdays. Anyone is welcome to participate. No disciplines allowed. And
that's fair. Yeah.
Just checking. What day is it?
It's Monday.
That's okay then. Hands deeper in the pocket, hood up even more. That's fine.
I'll say you'll notice that Oliver's kind of looking around, and his body language is like he's imposing, but also you could tell he's like got this closed off like you can tell this situation, he's uncomfortable. And he's just sort of like looking around and just like scanning, but his body language is very closed off. Like you would almost say it's awkward. Like he's there's everything happening right here, and where they are kind of makes him feel like out of sorts. And
Is that visible to the rest of us? Is that's like he's not trying to hide that? It's openly visible that he's uncomfortable.
You can tell that on some level him, you know, like being like broad shouldered and stuff like that, he's feeling very uncomfortable and awkward. He doesn't really know where. You get the feeling that there's this like an anxiety to him a little bit, but he's keeping it in check, but it's still noticeable.
Yeah, Luke's gonna kind of like he'll be right by his side, like before he realizes that Luke is there. He's just gonna like stand right next to him. That's kind of how Luke moves. He doesn't have move silently, but he may as well with all of his stealth and everything. And so basically he's gonna lean in. It's like, yeah, it's not really my scene either. Upstairs is more my thing. You know, I don't really get into the whole cage match stuff. Just saying, I can see you're a little uncomfortable.
And Oliver just looks at him and kind of gives him a steely glare. He's scared if he jumped a little bit when Luke appeared next to him.
Yeah.
And then he realizes it's just Luke. And he just sort of kind of relaxes because maybe he realized that he's been exuding this sort of like nervous energy, and he's like, I just want to get to work.
Yeah.
I hate meeting new people. It takes too long. I just want to get out of here.
It's not the warmest welcome, is it? Yeah, I get it. Work. Or at least, what do you do for a living? You know, as if it's the most casual, normal conversation in the whole world, even though we all realize that there's nothing normal about these people.
And he looks at Luke, and you can see, and then the awkward, it kind of broke for a second, the awkwardness, and then it kind of set back in. And he's like, well, I guess I do this now. Whatever this is.
You're going to get in the ring? The cage? You're going to do that?
No. I don't play around. The sooner we get this over with, the sooner we can get whatever it is we have to get done.
Yeah, but what do you do, like, like for fun, you know, like upstairs, like I can show you a thing or two on the keyboard upstairs, like the piano. That's my space. I'm gonna make it my space, you know.
I'm not too much of a fan of piano.
Yeah, you're not into music. Okay, all right. You know, like what? Yeah, you have a favorite hobby or something? Like, what is it you do? Like, you know, what's your piano, right?
And he kind of like stands a little bit taller for a second. He's like, well, I guess you're gonna find out, aren't you?
You're great. You're an excellent conversation partner. Let me just tell you, I feel right at home, you know, right at ease here. Like he's got to sidle away a little bit. Now Luke's the one looking uncomfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't like I'm gonna fight you. It's more like I'm kind of done with this conversation. That was
yeah. No, he knows when the conversation is over, and he's just kind of like, okay. All right, that's cool. You're good, you know.
Marie, did you have something you wanted to?
I was wondering if will be much of problems if I wanted to scan this room and the doors we have been going through, mainly in order to check if they had any kind of supernatural protection, as in wards or some kind of.
Yes. Do a resolve aspects, and I'll tell you about the things you have seen on the way.
Could I do a rose check for increasing my dice pool?
You want to increase it? Yes, then please do.
Okay.
The only thing of occult origin you've seen on the way in here is the stairs, but not the stairs you went down. The stairs that goes up, the stairs behind the bar. They are warded, you think, but you would have to investigate more to learn specifically what kind of ward it is. But that's the only thing of occult origin you saw on the way in here. Gabriel, he goes towards the table. Adrian jumps out of the cage. Gabriel, he remarks that, well, she's getting good, and she just responds with, "I am good, Gabe," and yells across the room, "Josh, dear, call Francois. Tell him to park outside the music store." Then she looks at all of you and flings her handbag over her shoulder and says "au revoir" and starts to walk out of the room unless somebody stops her.
Nice MMA moves. You're doing great. Look forward to seeing you beat somebody's ass.
She responds with "might be yours," but in a cheeky way.
You win. All right, yeah.
Gabriel says, "That's the Ventru Primogen. We're kind of friends, I guess."
Primogen.
Yes, she is. Well, apart from the prince, the only Camarilla that's allowed to come here without announcing their arrival.
You're not worried at all about her like ratting you out or anything?
We have hung out for about 70 years. I trust her.
Okay, all right. Good to know.
It's kind of the only Ventru that's cool, you know.
You're the one who basically brought us here, right?
Well, I talked to some people, heard you're looking for a home, and I have acquired some space that I don't use.
No, clearly you got lots of space here. You know, you got the cage, which is front and center here. You got a nice place upstairs. You know, you got all the trappings here. Are these like lounges or benches around the cage here, or are they?
Yeah,
what are they?
They're wooden benches around the cage.
Okay. Yeah.
He's going to the sofa area and he's pulling out a map of London.
Okay.
The one you see on Roll20. I'm just gonna go back to it for a moment while I.
While Adrian was leaving, they were heading out. They would have gone over to the sofa area to try and get as far away from them as possible. Following Leo, hands in his pocket, wearing a suit just with a battered hoodie over the top, looking like he doesn't fit in upstairs, downstairs, or anywhere else so far. If he were to look at Leo, what does he see? Because you caught his attention as you sort of left the train, and then you've seen a little bit quiet or, well, something different after entering the sewer for some reason.
He's just flamboyant head to toe, and he, like, the reason he goes over to the couch is to sit down, and all of the bads just drop with a thud in the middle of the conversation that was ongoing earlier. And you can see that he's visibly a little bit out of breath before he gets up again and, like, stretches, gets ready for whatever's about to happen.
What do you appear to have in your bags?
A lot of clothes.
Prepared. Yeah.
Well, Gabriel is pulling out the map and looks at all of you. He's smiling from ear to ear. He's, well, charming. When you're a part of us, you get the benefits of having me on your side. And that means any disagreements with the Camarilla, you bring to me. I can deal with them for you. And if
how are you? You already got the Primogen in your pocket, right? And
Adrian is
what's
just
your
a
history
friend.
here? Yeah. I see. A friend. Okay. All right. what's the history here? Because I'm new here. Like I travel a lot, and honestly, my first 10 minutes in London hasn't been great. Just so you know, the sewers and everything, but I appreciate the security. Really like it. Your guide could use a little bit more warmth.
That was not supposed to be my guide. You were supposed to have met Emma and Jake. I don't know what she did to them to distract them from their task.
Oh, I see.
She is not a part of us. She is autarkis, and we have worked with her in the past when we have needed someone who can fight. More people, I guess. She is the leader of a group, they call themselves the Horsemen.
Well, I'm glad that we made it through that encounter in one piece.
Well, they hate the Camarilla as much as we do, so it's fine. Well,
yeah. The enemy of my enemy. Yeah, I get it. I'm familiar with the philosophy. Yeah.
And she is loyal to her word, but her price is always way too steep. Whatever she told you, just assume it's lies.
Oh, okay. He's thinking back to everything she told them before they went up the ladder, or before they went to the darkness teleport. It's like, okay, so Alex Kairos may not be the prince.
We have an agreement.
And Mithras is definitely not in charge. Yeah.
Why? I don't know what she told you, but
yeah, she said that there's this guy Mithras with his heralds and everything. They like really run the show, not you and not whoever Alex Kairos is.
She's not wrong, but Mithras does not care. This is way too low on the ladder for him to actually. I don't know what the exact details, but he made some kind of deal with the Camarilla, and they recognize his power, but they still have Camarilla control. I don't know politics. It gives me a headache. But like I said, I will deal with them for you, because the agreement is anything that happens within my domains is my problem. So if the sheriff or Scourge should approach you within our domain, you simply direct them my way. If you don't, want to deal with them yourselves. You don't have to bother me. It's just, I can help. And
sure.
Of course, if shit hits the fan, you have, us, the Anarchs, to support you. And the only thing I ask in return is that you help the community and that you respect my rules.
Which are?
Well, he points on the map. It's not a rule, but it's a strong suggestion. Stay within the red line. If you cross it, it's Camarilla law. You'll be judged. You'll be punished by their law. If anything should happen here, we have a rant. But at least it will be democratic. What kind of punishment you'll be getting. Next rule: no phones in my bar. I recommend staying away from electronics, but I don't forbid it. I'm not a dictator. It's just good advice. Just not in my bar. Trust me, Antigen will find you so goddamn fast if you have one of those things in your pockets. I have a solution set up for that, but we'll get to that.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't do well with phones anyway. It's a bad history. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Damn my Spotify.
Well,
is a pager allowed?
It's allowed. I'm not going to stop you, but it's going to be turned off at least when you're in here.
All right.
Any pay phones or anything around here? Like any hard lines or anything like that in the bar?
You see the guy? You hear the typing on the keyboard from the other end of the room. Talk to him afterwards. He's the techie. I'm 100 and something years old. I don't understand it.
No problem.
You'll be given a small domain in Croydon.
Nice place, right? Yeah, that's a nice part of London.
It's can be. He's clearly lying.
He's gonna see Dave shaking his head. Just
and your contact.
Gabriel, Sorry, have we got anywhere near Covent Garden? Anything like that? Anywhere adjacent?
I don't know where Isa have put you, actually. That was my next point of order. You're gonna be, I don't want to say working for, but helping Isa out with her. She's currently in charge of Croydon as a domain, and she's a really nice woman. Another advice: if you ever run into Antigen, you better run or kill every single one of them.
How do we know what antigen? How do we know? Do they have like a name tag or something?
They look like any kind of police military force. You know, the heavy gear and the specialized weapons and the stakes and flamethrowers and flashbangs that makes us fancy. And,
so what you're trying to say is they're not subtle.
No, they're not subtle, but they will most definitely arrive in case of any masquerade breaches. Or anything that's remotely suspicious, so I also suggest if you're caught, don't go home. They will burn your haven if they know where you live. And you're a pack. Coterie is an oppressive term used by capes. You'll learn that having people who have your back is a good way to keep existing. So, I hope that you can work well together, or at least find some way to.
And any forbidden places while inside the Anarch territory?
Any what?
Any forbidden places inside the Anarch territory? Especially dangerous ones where antigen could be spotted.
Well, we're kindred, so it's mostly other kindred, but I don't know, just use your head. Nothing we know of. There's no demons, or if that's the kind of thing you're looking for.
Alright, thank you.
The Camarilla is the biggest threat, and the lupines are way up north. He points at the map. And we have the Hecata standing in between them and us. So, if any of you are of that clan, I suggest you should see them at some point. Just be aware that you will be officially in Camarilla territory.
So we just want to
Oliver doesn't say
avoid.
anything.
We just want to avoid this Southwark region here.
Yeah, that's been here since even before Queen Anne died. Just don't go to Southwark. It's governmental, and it's very, very surveilled.
Yeah.
Any other questions about the map, I will happily answer. If you have some questions about the factions or people who live here.
Just curious about the West End.
Remind the storyteller which borough the West End is in.
I think it's where the prince is.
Oh, Tower Hamlets?
Possibly.
It's going to be London with Mithras on that map.
Oh, okay, yeah, center of London. Well, he says, well, it's all kind of their territory. Adrian is the one who handles real estate. But if you want to live in their domains, you have to, well, deal with them. I can set something up for you if you want to, but...
So basically everything south of the Thames, apart from the couple places that...
I tried to get Bexley as well, but he wouldn't budge. And now he's just... Well, it's not easy to get into contact with. It's usually... I have to deal with Darius, and he's a bit of a twat.
That's fair.
That's the sheriff, by the way. Any other questions about the map? I know there's a lot.
Any places that are really off limits to us, apart from like the obvious antigen one and possibly the Camarilla domains here, and very obviously we won't be going anywhere near Lupines, and I don't know who the So yeah. I mean, just I'm new to the city. You have to understand. Like I just
It's fair. It's fair. That's why I ask. It's well, if in the red line you're safe, if you don't do anything stupid. I don't recommend going to Camarilla territory unless you have specific purpose.
Sure.
And can get the hell out here again. But you might.
We don't have to present ourselves to anybody, right? There's no. I mean.
The Herald will show up at your haven at some point. I still have to discuss it with him or the sheriff, but just to register you that you are in the city. The prince likes his list of names.
Oh, I see.
Population control and all that bullshit. But it's not ideal, but it's peace, at least. We can't really afford to fight each other and Antigen and the Lupines and whatever else is out there.
At least not openly. So, got to know this place is safe at least. Is everyone out there, and I am pointing upwards, is also part of the Anarch, or like the upper scale as well, the upper ladder as well, or are there humans who avoid that place?
Well, we have a few of us. They're not in-house at the moment, but we have a good amount of people, enough to make a stand if we should. Of course, we have me and my right hand is Isa. She's definitely one suited for management. She's Tremere, Kana. She'll be your close friend and your Morla when you're here. Emma is animalistic. She lives at the zoo with the wolves, but she'll show up. But she's not the most social person, at least not with people. And we have Josh. He points towards the room. He's our seer and tech guy. Mad as a hatter, but he's harmless. We have Jake. He's Gangrel. He's a fucking cowboy. He smiles when he says it. He's a sniper. He's a big gun when we need him. He's controlling the perimeter in case any Camarilla should invade, and we don't know. And we have Martin. He's also Tremere. He's not a part of the Anarchs. He's one of the outcasts. They're autarkish. You can deal with them. They're okay, I guess. They're not Camarilla. Sean, he was a caitiff that I took in. I felt pity on him, and he didn't know his sire. And then we have Wally. Wally is just a fun guy, a bit of a trickster and a bit of a snake. But good enough. And now you have you guys.
Thank you very much for the introduction.
Yes, of course. They are mostly hanging out here. Some are people like Emma, she's easiest to meet in the zoo if you can break in at night.
Is there any way we can help in particular about that? You propose?
I am sure Isa has something. She's more eyes or ears to the ground in Croydon than I have. Coming by later, I guess. Another rule. Again, this is more of a rule than a suggestion. Any disputes will be brought to my attention, and we will deal with it in a rant. Just so you guys know.
When you say disputes, you're thinking...
Let's say, I don't know, I French you and punch you in the face, and we'll figure out a proper way to punish me for being an asshole.
So we don't resolve those on our own, we bring them to you?
It depends on you guys, but if you need a judge...
Fair. Yeah, I get it, yeah.
Or if any one of you feel like you need a judge, you just come to me with it. And, of course, the most important rule... If you act like a rabid dog, you get put down like a rabid dog.
I have a question.
Yes?
How do we make money around here? I'm in dire need of some cash.
Well, you'll be giving domain, and I'm sure that you'll be able to establish yourself within a short amount of time. I unfortunately cannot help with cash, but maybe Isa has something lying around. I know she prepared some source of income for you guys, shared as it may be.
If I may be so bold, Gabriel, what are your goals here, like in the city? It looks like you got a nice little chunk here. I mean, you've already got the sewer entrance, and you got the 2 domains down here, or the 2 districts or wards or whatever they're called. And so what are your ambitions here? Like do you have any plans for the city at all?
We help the community, the kind and kindred alike, and if everyone flourishes, it's good for everyone. And kicking some ass to some oppressors or some shitty companies or something, but that's more a personal thing than an Anarch thing. You don't have to participate in what they call terrorism, I believe.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah. What are your opinions about the whole situation with Prince Kairos and Antigen and all the rest of it? Like, if I know politics bores you, and I get that. Like, I know it gives you a headache, and I can't blame you, but so I've been in a lot of cities, and as you know, the dynamic is different for everybody. So I'm just kind of like trying to get a feel for what the situation is here.
The prince and I have an understanding, and I don't know, we have known each other for a while, and I knew him before he was prince. We had
What kind of person is he?
Now?
What kind of prince are we talking about here? Yeah.
Well, he used to be a rock star, but now he's more of a monk. He's always fucking meditating. You can't even get eye contact with the guy, and he seems to have this very zen thing about him, like he's aware of everything that goes around.
Is he? He's aware of everything that happens in his city. He's got eyes everywhere. He's got Primogen right here with you, obviously, so
Well, Nosferatu control the cameras, so he has them.
Okay.
He has a warlock who's quite proficient in scrying, but we have Josh, he says and smiles. And Josh knows everything. You just have to sort the bullshit from the truths.
Sure, yeah. He gets all the channels.
Yeah. The alarm ones and the good ones and
yeah, fair.
But yeah, it's a peace thing, and I expect it to blow over as soon as antigen is not an issue. But right now they are.
Gabriel, can you actually trust the prince not to just sick antigen on us?
Of
It's
course.
not too funny.
Of course not.
Camarilla's Camarilla.
Yeah.
I completely agree. But he has not done it yet, and until he does, we can only fortify and expect it to happen.
It's fair.
I don't want war unless it's necessary. We would definitely kick their ass though, but then we have to deal with all the fucking Justicars and Archons and everything after that. It's a headache. Have you heard about LA? Keeps being a headache for them, even years and years and years after. Yes, Marie?
Basically, see if I may be able to take a peek at what Joshua is doing over here to my, what is he doing in a sense of technology?
Quick gaze, his surveillance seems to be traffic cameras, and he's playing some browser game on another monitor, and there's some switch rolling on a third one, and yeah, there's about 6 or 7 monitors around.
A multitasker. Alright, I get it.
Yeah, he's not typing on the keyboard or anything. Right now, he just seems to be mumbling to himself in a... almost like he's reading out loud, or he's... practicing his narrator voice for a noir book. You know, that very kind of voice where you talk like this. It was a grey evening. You know, that kind of voice.
What a sea you sky.
Well,
right.
you can't hear the words though. It's just the mumbling and the tone coming from him. But yeah, Gabriel looks at all of you. Is my terms acceptable? Domain, helping out each other and the community, and in return we have your back.
Sounds like, well, sounds better than the average Kindred did for me, so I will be glad to help. Let's talk about the rest.
Good to hear it. I'm glad. I have to get going soon, because I have to meet a herald or a sheriff or something that has a direct line to the prince and announce your arrival. But talk to Josh about technology and getting in touch with ICE and all that bullshit. Unless you have any other questions, I'm gonna head out of here. I'm sure we'll see each other all the time. Yes?
Could I sneak one last question, or will that be like an infraction of etiquette of any kind?
No, it's fine.
That reminds me. How do you handle the traditions in Anarch's territory?
Don't breach the Masquerade, and don't feed on someone's domain unless you ask them.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anything should be, well, use your head. And if you fuck up, we deal with it in a rant. Figure out a punishment. I'm not really the Napoleon type, but I don't want what looks like Sabbat incursions in my city. So, but yeah,
I know.
the most important though is just the Masquerade, right? And I don't know. Don't be a dick, he says, and as he walks out of the room.